Well, as Adamawa State shuffles for the next successive government, who will take over from Right Honorable Amadou Finturi? The dice is cast already, and there are many aspirants who have thrown their weight to the contest. Hello there. Welcome to Political Affairs on Kama TV. My name is Chris Jacobs, and I've been joined by Honorable Anas Bala. He is an APC stalwart. He joins me now to talk some more. Honorable, it is a pleasure to have you on Political Affairs.
Good morning, Chris. Why is my name so hard to mention here?
Honestly, I was trying to figure out, for lack of a better word, figure out what the nomenclature that could fit you, in terms of this political journey that we've been journeying to.
Thank you. I hope you're doing well.
I am, as you can see.
Yeah, as good as usual.
That's right. Thank you very much. Now, first of all, having set the premise for the conversation, how will you describe the new APC leadership in Adamawa State ever since the fusion of the People's Democratic Party into the All Progressive Congress?
Well, I think politics, like they said, come with different dynamics. And the antics we have seen these days, it's a new dimension. That I think we have to applaud it, some key political actors, for the manifest of this, because this is actually indicating that our democracy, though without some challenges, but is growing. As political leaders, whom we all know that politics is about game. It's a chess game. If you know how to play your card, then definitely it is good for you. Coming together to play their card in such a way that, it should be mutual or beneficial to both sides. So I think it's a moment that we will applaud the key political actors who have been able to see, this in the sense of reasoning, to merge or to fuse together two major strong political parties just to confront, and make sure that it is beneficial to the both sides. So I think this is something that, although we have seen some snippets of this in the last, dispensation when Jonathan was the president, when the APC have to come together, but that was purely between opposition parties. But here we have a party that has government at the center and the one that has government at the state level coming together. So it's a different dimension, but I think we have to applaud the key actors. They have done well, and that indicates that, there are more wise men and wisdom people in the political arena.
I can recall the previous times we've had conversation of such with you on different platforms and fora. You somehow criticize the Governor Amadou Finturi as regard to some of his gigantic strides he has taken in terms of infrastructure development. And on the other hand, you have also applauded him in one way or the other. That was when he was a member of the People's Democratic Party. But now, will you also say of him as a member of the APC, whether or not some level of criticism, can you critique his government, in this regard?
Well, I think first of all, let me take it this way. My job as a party in opposition in the state at that time was actually to look at the shortcomings, of the ruling government here in the state, and to hit hard, because we believe, in politics, this is the only way, that gives you, or that puts you at edge in terms of winning the minds of people, in terms of trying to reconvince people to see reasons in your political party. So I think then when we were, in the opposition here in the States, we have, a number of times that we come to say that, some of the things that have been, carried out or done by the government of Amadou Finturi, we stand to disagree with it. But I think it's a perspective. After, speaking as an opposition member, now I'm in a ruling party, which His Excellency Right Honorable Amadou Finturi is my leader as the sitting governor. We are in the same political party. It's a common sense to everybody that, what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. Now we are in the same house, and, then we were not being able to see reasons with him, to believe in some of the ideologies, to believe in some of the things that, His Excellency, Governor Amadou Finturi was doing. But I think after being able to sit with him, after being able to come back together in the same one family, sit together, dissecting to these issues, we've come to realize that that Adamawa State have never had a governor, which had performed critically or credibly well in terms of putting infrastructure, in terms of resetting the economy, so that the prospects of our people would be would be lighter. It would be glittered, it would be very versatile, it would be very clear for everybody to see. We've never had it like it. And we are human beings, we can't cheat nature. All of us cannot be perfect 100%. And then I always urge people to also look into this. There are areas that you may feel that His Excellency Amadu Umaru Fintri have not done well, but that is the nature of human. He cannot do everything like people are expected. It is only God that can do things 100%. But to say the least, Governor Amadu Umaru Fintri and his administration had actually lived up to the expectations of the majority.
All right, having said that, if you notice or if you are taking a walk around town, you could see a lot of billboard posters, that depicts people's intention, particularly those who are aspiring, to succeed Amadu Fintri as the next governor of Adamawa State. But they are numerous in number, and there are a lot of them, have this self-confidence and conviction that they will occupy the Dogere government house. But talk to me about the number of those aspiring for, governorship of Adamawa State.
Well, quite interesting. I think so far in the old Progressive Congress here in Adamawa State, we've had about 10 people who have picked up their nominations form, and as at yesterday, a good number of them had passed through or had undergone through the party screening. So in the old Progressive Congress in total, those who are actually vying for the #1 seat, the governorship seat, are about 10. And don't forget that in all of them, I have my preferred candidate. To be honest, I've never hide away from that, which is Abdurrahman Bashir Haske. Just like any other person who has come out to say that he wants to run for the governorship, they felt that they have something to tell people. This is the same thing, or this is exactly the reasons why we're standing with Abdurrahman Bashir Haske, because here is a young man who has navigated himself excellently well in the private world. He has been able to see through a quite number of business, from telecommunications, from agric, and then from oil sector. He has seen quite a number of businesses successfully, over almost 2 decades. And people have seen his performance, and then people have tried to measure that with his humanity intervention. A quite number of time in the years back, when people called him to say that they want him to intervene in certain humanitarian angle that is outside his life, then he had never thought of even joining politics. He has done that to the people. So when people sit down to say that, look, we have seen the capability and the capacity of this young man, who have been able to metamorphose his business from where it is to the level that it is now. We've seen the capability and the capacity of this young man, who have been able to answer our call all the time when we said that the community needed someone to intervene, a philanthropist, either by digging or whatever. This man has actually, had never, rejected our call all the time. And then here is a man who they felt that, is part of those who are trying to change the narrative and the history of the state by bringing a whole investment in terms of factory, one of the largest rice farming factory in the northeast. This young man brought it all the way from where he is to his hometown, and then when he brought it here, people thought that he would take it to most closely to his own local government or where his people have been dominant. No, he took it to Demsa and make sure that
we need to take a break there. But of course, I also needed to say something so that you can ponder on this. There is these rumors that was making around a couple of weeks ago, and even up to now, still in the mind of people, is still fresh. The imposition of a candidate on Adamawa citizen, particularly of the APC, and that has generated a kind of a back and forth, between support groups and also even among the aspirants who are running for governorship. And that didn't really go well with some, to the extent that 1 or 2 persons who have been great political juggernauts in the APC decide to defect to other political parties because of these anomaly they refer to as irregularities in terms of trust factor. So ponder on this. When we return from this short time out, we will now talk some more. Well, you're watching Political Affairs on Comrade TV. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. And for those of you following the conversation on Facebook page live, I need you to send your comments, suggestions, and questions even to the talking point at the comment section, and we'll respond to you swiftly.
A benefit of doubt to see what they could. But be as it may, they have left the party. But I want to say that I'm more confident in the leadership and the and the kind of style of His Excellency, Ahmadu Umaru Fintri. I know that he's a man, of equity and fairness all the time for the people. Is a one who believes in doing justice for whoever comes his way. I know him for that. Likewise, the National Security Advisors are the two leaders of the party. And also, if you look at the structure of the leadership of the party, which is being headed by Alhaji Hamza Madadeli, I believe that this combination will give us one of the best in terms of creating a level playing field for all the aspirants to come and stride. And as I speak to you this morning, a quite number of the aspirant governorship, all of them are touring different parts of the local government today as I speak to you, to meet with stakeholders and our fathers in the traditional council to seek for their blessings before coming up, to confront the primaries as the date is approaching more closer. So, there is nothing to worry about because I know the mix-up of the qualities of leaders we have here in Adamawa State, who I believe that they will stand, told to ensure that justice is being done to everyone. But if should in case, what I think politicians should be looking at is whether we are considering, consensus or direct primaries. To me, politics is always the same thing. It is provided in the constitution. And why the constitution provides that sometimes is to make sure that you're able to manage your situation without creating much chaos and crisis, so that it will not subject the process into another litigation. But whether we are adopting consensus or direct primaries, it all speaks to the kind of popularity you have, because the party's aim is to win an election. So if the party decide to say that they are coming out with the modalities, which has to do with bringing all the aspirants together to sit down and say, this is the aspirant A is more popular than B, C, D. So we should come together and support him, because the victory of our party is our own goal, is the number one objective of whoever is in the party interest is first. I think it's the same thing. So what politicians will be looking at is how you hit the ground running, how you try to make sure that you galvanize support, you create that kind of intermediate relationship between you, the connection between you and the electorate. Once the political party highlight and understand that you have that, then definitely you'll be the subject either in consensus or direct primaries. Just like my own, before you butt in, just like my own candidate Abraham Bashir Haske, I'm confident as I speak here, if the party is adopting the consensus process or the direct primaries, he is going to be the favored one because he has more popularity than many of the aspirants.
That is your own
that is my own view.
Your own view. But there are those who are also saying, Comrade Mustafa Saliu seemed to have come, from the blue, and now he seems to be one of the preferred candidates, because we have seen how the romance between him and Governor Fintiri has turned in recent times, and that also has generated more conversation.
Well, let me make a categorical statement, on that. Comrade Mustafa Saliu, he's like a father to me, and he's a mentor. He had been my leader in this party for almost since the inception of the party. And this is someone we also shared a lot in common, because he's from my local government too. And this is someone who knows me personally, who give me assignment at any different time, who called me, who even sometimes have to scold me on things I do. He has scolded me either in public or in private. He has spoke to a number of people. I think many times if I will be there, even if people are thousands, he will call my name and said, I have scolded you so many times, haven't I? So this is someone who is like almost a father to me. And I believe that people who are making, different kind of statements on trying to romance any relationship between His Excellency Ahmadu Umaru Fintri with all the other aspirants, because this statement is not only alluded to Comrade Mustafa Saliu, it was said to one of our father also, Tijani Galadima. When the process started, people said that he has already been nominated as a consensus candidate, and later on is Comrade Mustafa. I think these things are hearsay, and these things are rumors. What the party is bent at is that all the aspirants, we have even aspirants which people don't even know about them. We have Ibrahim Thol, he's also an aspirant. We have Dr. Saliu Bakari. We have my father, Baba Joel, Joel Madaki. He's also an aspirant. So there are a lot of people that people don't, think about the relationship. If the relationship is to pave the way, the relationship they have with the current governor. So I think, people should be able to try to dissect and understand politics. Yes, there are relationships, just like I said, Baba Joel has relationship, I think more solid and platonic than many of them with Fintri, because we knew the antecedent of their political. So we are not, I don't think His Excellency and the leaders of the party and the leadership of the party are bent in choosing candidate because of any relationship or any romance that people try to nest it into the system. Yeah. The party and the leadership of the party, that is the two head leaders we have in the party, both His Excellency Ahmadu Umaru Fintri and the National Security Advisor and the leadership of the party here, are bent on choosing someone who will win an election for the party. Someone who has the acceptability, just like I said, Abdurrahman Bashir Aski have had this acceptability. I know what I'm saying. I've been on this game for almost 18 years. And if given the ticket, before 12 noon, he will deliver APC to Adamawa.
But the governor, of course, told Adamawa intelligence that come 22nd of this month, he may likely unveil who his successor will be. So, looking forward to seeing that day, and hope the aspirant will take it in good faith to be good sportsmen.
Exactly, and I think we'll come here again and cheer up and enjoy ourselves, because that is a moment of celebration.
Well, there is no better way to end this conversation than now, Comrade. And Bala, thank you so very much for finding time to come, political affairs. This is just the part one of this conversation, and we'll definitely have a build upon it. Thank you once again.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, that's our show for today. Join us again, same time, same station, as we come with a fresh edition of the program. Until then, stay safe. My name is Chris Jacobs. God bless Nigeria. And thank you so very much for those of you who follow the conversation live on Facebook page. Do same, next time, as we come with a very interesting and intriguing talking point. Join us again next time. I'm Chris Jacobs.